I was just reflecting on how important it is to build culture into your organization and to do things that benefit the culture in general rather than benefit yourself or the organization as a whole. So if you don't know me, I'm Professor Dave Maslek, Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward to help you out. So culture is one of those things that's really hard to put your finger on. But when you're managing or when you know about it, when you see it, you actually kind of figure it out that this is a really big thing. And it really does matter in organizations. It really does matter in terms of the performance of what happens and the longevity of the organization. And the key thing to focus on with culture, I think, is having people trust in the organization and trust in other people, no matter what happens to the organization and what is going on. So I don't study culture as much as I should because it's a really hard thing to study in organizations. Actually, one of the things that very few people actually study it in terms of people in strategy. There's lots of people that might talk about it informally, but it's actually something that's difficult to study. And the key thing, I think, with culture, it's not only sort of hiring decisions and thinking about bringing in the right people, but it's also thinking about, what are you doing with the people that are actually there, and how do they perceive what is going on in the organization, and how do they feel about the organization. So the key thing is with building culture, even though I don't know that much about it, the key thing is to realize that this stuff takes a long time to build. And the other thing to realize is that it could disappear very quickly. So it's one of those things that in a lot of organizations, there's lots of things like this that actually take an extremely long time to build, and it takes a lot of effort in building that particular culture or building something within the organization that other people would resonate with and kind of understand. And now, why do you actually want to build culture in an organization? Or, not just, because culture, I'm referring to like a positive culture, but, there's negative culture as well, where people are sort of upset and they don't like what they're doing. But why do you want that positive culture, that sort of the beneficial culture? Well, the reason is that the people that are there end up being evangelists. They end up being the people that will do things because they actually really want to be there and do things that really excite them. And they will do it not because that they have to ask for your permission, or that they'll do it because they're waiting on you, on something that you say or do, but they do it simply because they think it's pretty fun, it's pretty cool, and we think it's actually going to benefit the organization, and whatever that looks like. So, it could be being evangelists with sort of sharing to other people and growing. Maybe it's your customer base, or growing, bringing people into the company that they think would be really fun to hire and that they're very excited to have there. But also the fact that, they're building culture in the organization such that they can make decisions in and of themselves, and they kind of know that they're going to execute on the organization themselves. They're thinking about, what is the best interest of the organization as a whole, rather than what is going on and benefiting themselves or benefiting, maybe it's another person beside them. Now, I know if you can get that all aligned, and you can get all the incentives aligned and the role structures and all that kind of stuff within a company, it kind of, or within an organization, not just a company, all of that stuff could get aligned. But it's actually very difficult to do that and get everything all aligned, because there's a lot of things that we do and we sort of take advantage of in life that are not necessarily explicit or not part of any sort of whether it's an organizational structure or an organization org chart, or whether it is based on incentives or how much money you make. Eventually, in fact, at a lot of organizations, they run into this problem that people just make so much money, it doesn't matter. It's really not a factor into what they're actually doing. There's lots of roles like that, right? So, maybe it's a corporate, some sort of corporate job or something like that. And it's not necessarily the key thing that is driving why people actually do those things. And so what I can get you to think about with building culture is to know that whenever you make a decision, it's often hard something's moving over there. It's often hard to figure out how to build these things, but just have that in the back of your mind, what it takes to build culture, and that it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and you often have to invest in these things without getting any immediate return in the short run. It often takes years and years before this stuff actually comes out and people can benefit from this, and your organization can benefit from this. And know that even though it takes years and years to build, it can disappear overnight. So all of the organizations that do very well, they tend to have great cultures, and people kind of get what they're trying to do. And the reason is they just get it. They understand what it's about. If I say Apple, you kind of know what it's about, even though it's hard to sort of explain what they're doing. So if I can get you to do that in terms of thinking about the long-term benefits of building culture, you might want to do that and focus on that and spend the time and effort to do that and understand what it actually takes. It's going to take you years to actually get there, but try to do it and worry about it. I think it's important to worry about it. So with that, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.